Moses chose to worship Jehovah. In Egypt, Jacob's family became known as Israelites. After Jacob and Joseph died, a new Pharaoh began to rule. He was afraid that the Israelites were becoming more powerful than the Egyptians. So this Pharaoh made the Israelites slaves. He forced them to make bricks and to work very hard in the fields. But the more the Egyptians forced them to work hard, the more the Israelites grew in number. Because Pharaoh did not like that, he commanded that all the newborn Israelite boys be killed. An Israelite woman named Jochebed had a beautiful baby boy. To protect him, she put him in a basket and hid it in the reeds of the Nile River. The baby's sister Miriam stayed nearby to see what would happen. Pharaoh's daughter came to bathe in the river and saw the basket. Inside, she found a crying baby, and she felt sorry for him. Miriam asked, "Should I go find a woman who can nurse the child for you?" When Pharaoh's daughter said yes, Miriam brought back her own mother, Jochebed. Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Take this baby, nurse him for me, and I will pay you." Exodus 2:5-9. When the child grew older, Jochebed brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, who named him Moses and raised him as her own son. Moses grew up as a prince and could have anything he wanted. But Moses never forgot Jehovah. He knew that he was really an Israelite, not an Egyptian, and he chose to serve Jehovah. At the age of 40, Moses decided to help his people. When he saw an Egyptian beating an Israelite slave, Moses hit the Egyptian so hard that he died. Moses hid the body in the sand. When Pharaoh found out, he tried to kill Moses, but Moses ran away to the land of Midian. Jehovah took care of him there. By faith, Moses refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing to be mistreated with the people of God. Questions. How were the Israelites treated in Egypt? Why did Moses run away from Egypt? Moses lived in Midian for 40 years. He got married and had children. One day, while he was taking care of his sheep near Mount Sinai, he saw something amazing. A thorn bush was on fire, but it was not burning up. When Moses went near to see why, he heard a voice from inside the bush say, "Moses, do not come any closer. Take off your sandals because you are standing on holy ground." Moses was afraid, so he covered his face. The voice said, "I have seen the suffering of the Israelites. I will save them from the Egyptians and bring them to a good land. You are the one who will lead my people out of Egypt." Exodus 3:7-10. Moses asked, "What should I say when the people ask who sent me?" God replied, "Tell them that Jehovah, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has sent you." Moses then said, "What if the people don't listen to me?" Jehovah gave Moses proof that he would help him. He told Moses to throw his stick on the ground. Then the stick became a snake. When Moses grabbed the snake by the tail, it became a stick again. Jehovah said, "When you perform this sign, it will prove that I sent you." Moses said, "I'm not a good speaker." Jehovah promised him, "I will tell you what to say, and I will send your brother Aaron to help you." Knowing that Jehovah was with him, Moses took his wife and sons and headed back to Egypt. Exodus 4:10-20. Do not become anxious about how or what you are to speak, for what you are to speak will be given you in that hour. Do not become anxious about how or what you are to speak, for what you are to speak will be given you in that hour. Do not become anxious about how or what you are to speak, for what you are to speak will be given you in that hour. Questions. What did Moses see while he was taking care of his sheep? What did Jehovah want Moses to do? The Israelites were forced to work hard as slaves. Jehovah sent Moses and Aaron to Pharaoh with this message, "Let my people go so that they can worship me in the wilderness." Pharaoh proudly replied, "I do not care what Jehovah says, and I will not let the Israelites go." Then Pharaoh forced them to work even harder. Jehovah would teach Pharaoh a lesson. Exodus 5:1-2. Jehovah told Moses, "Pharaoh is not listening to me. In the morning he will be at the Nile River. Go to him and tell him that because he has not let my people go, all the water in the Nile will turn into blood." Moses obeyed and went to Pharaoh. Pharaoh watched as Aaron hit the Nile with his stick, and the river turned into blood. The river began to stink, the fish died, and there was no fresh water to drink from the Nile. Pharaoh still refused to let the Israelites go. 7 days later, Jehovah sent Moses back to Pharaoh with this message: "If you don't send my people away, Egypt will be filled with frogs." Aaron raised his stick, and frogs began to cover the land. The people found frogs in their houses, in their beds, and in their bowls. There were frogs everywhere. Pharaoh had Moses beg Jehovah to end this plague. Pharaoh promised that he would let the Israelites go. So Jehovah stopped the plague, and the Egyptians piled up the dead frogs, heap after heap. The land began to stink. But again, Pharaoh would not let the people go. Then Jehovah told Moses, "Aaron must hit the ground with his stick, and the dust will turn into gnats, or small biting flies." Immediately there were gnats everywhere. Some of Pharaoh's own people told him, "This plague comes from God." But still, Pharaoh would not let the Israelites go. Exodus 8:16-19. "I will make them know my power and my might, and they will have to know that my name is Jehovah." Questions. What were the first 3 plagues? Why did Jehovah cause these plagues? Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos with the successive plagues of Egypt. And if you like them, like us to encourage us.